Waicha Lawrence, who is head of International Security Program with the Policy Institute of International Affairs. My question to you is that Prime Minister Modi is going to Ukraine also. So what are the expectations? Do you think that there will be any kind of peace formula and any kind of peace solution would come out after this visit or during this visit?
No, I don't expect any new peace formula because there is already one. Ukraine came up with its own peace plan, 10-point peace plan of President Zelensky, and all important elements are there in this plan: territorial integrity, withdrawal of Russian forces, compensations for the war crimes, etc., etc. The problem is that there is also the Chinese peace initiative that is mainly about neutralizing Ukrainian peace plan, and Chinese peace offer is rather extending a helping hand to Russia rather than seeking something that is really neutral and focused on finding a just and sustainable solution. And I think that it is an opportunity for India to play a constructive role in looking for the solution, how we can build international support around Ukrainian peace plan. We have had a number of peace summits that Ukraine tried to organize. A lot of countries supported Ukraine, but not all countries, even not all participants of those peace summits signed to final communiques, declarations. So we can see that
but India has a position that any peace formula can take place only if there is a give and take kind of situation. So by going that formula, don't you think that it is also on the part of Ukraine to listen what Russia is saying, as Ukraine also wants Russia to listen what it is demanding? So
this is, as always, it will require compromises from both sides. But what we observe now is that Russia has been unwilling to negotiate in good faith. All the Russia's proposals are about unconditional Ukrainian surrender. This is not about, okay, if Ukraine stays out of NATO, we will withdraw our troops from Ukraine and we will live happily ever after. It is always about maximalists Russia's goals, and Russia believes that by being a major nuclear power, which has much bigger resources than Ukraine, that it will be able to impose its will on Ukraine. So we are not at this stage when Russia would be willing to negotiate with Ukraine, and this is what we should try to achieve with support of India.
And when we talk about the territorial integrity and UN Charter, so now Ukrainian forces are in the area of Kurs. So it is also violating somehow. You can give your justification because Russian has captured a lot of land of Ukraine. So it's in retaliation. Ukrainian army went into the Russian territory. But this is also a kind of violation of international laws.
No, not really, actually, because the law states clearly that every country has the right to self-defense, and it's not written anywhere that self-defense can be only on your own territory. You need to be able to take the initiative, and in recent months, Ukraine was in a very difficult situation. There was an increasingly vocal narrative that there is a stalemate in Ukraine, that Russia is too big to be defeated, that Ukraine has to accept the territorial losses, that it has to accept the new realities, etc., etc. And it all led to the direction of any potential so-called peace negotiations that would be not peace negotiations, it would be an imposing a ceasefire or peace on Ukraine on Russia's terms. So if Ukraine wanted to regain the initiative, it had to demonstrate that it's not only defending itself, withdrawing itself, that Russia is demonstrating to the whole world that if it turns into the war of attrition, it will win the war of attrition, that it will wait for another year and the international community will get tired and Russia will achieve what it wants. So by taking the initiative and stating clearly that Ukraine's intention is not to occupy Russia's territory, it wants to limit Russia's ability to attack Ukrainian territory from the Kursk region. And of course, if Ukraine is able to control this territory, then it will have a bargaining chip for the negotiations. It will improve Ukraine's negotiating positions. And it's clearly in line with international law. And you know, from the perspective of the poll of the countries in this region, especially with the experience of 1939, when Poland was attacked first by Nazi Germany and then by Soviet Russia 17 days later, it really, you know, when somebody tells about peace at all costs, okay, stop fighting, capitalize, you know, give up because people are dying unnecessary, and then, okay, you have peace, but you are under occupation, and the aggressor is free to actually murder, kill off your society. Or this is our experience. A lot of people still live and remember what were the consequences. So this is why there is a very strong support to Ukraine and quite realistic thinking about the peace negotiations that should not be a peace at all cost. It should be peace negotiations by exerting pressure on the aggressor so he is willing to negotiate in a good faith, not by dictating the terms that amount to unconditional surrender.
So my final question to you is that Prime Minister Modi, when visited Russia, he said Putin on his face that this is not the era of war and any solution can't be found in the battle zone. So how do you see that kind of a statement, and what can be the logical conclusion of that statement during Prime Minister Modi's Ukraine visit?
Yes, I think that, you know, that this is something that a large part of international public opinion likes to hear, that there is no military solution to the problems. But actually, once the war started and both sides clearly interpret their interests as by fighting the war, because as long as they fight, they are able to defend their interests. So we have to accept this reality. So, you know, those political statements can be nice. They can give some cover to politicians, to the decision makers. We do not support war, we support peace, but they don't necessarily lead to any positive direction. I think that if India starts to use its huge influence, its hugely positive image all across not only this region
and the kind
but
of personal chemistry
globally.
Prime Minister Modi having with President Putin. So
Yes, and if Prime Minister Modi uses his personal relations with Putin, uses this strategic partnership between India and Russia, but moves to the direction of Ukraine and will demonstrate that, okay, India is neutral, but we understand what is at stake, that international system based on international law and agreed norms has to be defended, because otherwise it will fracture. China will take opportunity of this to pursue its goals in the Pacific. Then there will be a bigger chance that we will have a meaningful and lasting peace.
Thank you for talking.